Todd Mickelson of A Satellite View here with a special report on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, talking about what happened on Sunday. Everybody's losing their minds over the fact that enough Democrats in the Senate have signed on and voted to reopen the government. Everybody's saying that they have basically caved. Okay, I get it. I'm pissed off. I wish that Chuck Schumer could have kept everyone together, but I want you to consider a couple other things that nobody's talking about. First of all, I have no idea why the media keeps leaving out the fact that this deal only goes through January 30th. There are a few provisions that go for 1 year, including the ACA extensions, and there's no promise that that's going to be part of it, actually. It's not a good deal, but it really only funds the government mostly until January 30th, so this whole government shutdown argument would re-begin then. Another thing, this takes away any right of the Republicans to keep calling this a Democrat shutdown, because some Democrats have reopened the government now. Still, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to stick up for these people who turned against their party. Chuck Schumer, although he voted against it, he's the leader of the Senate, and he should have kept all the Democrats together to stand strong. But we all want new leadership. Nancy Pelosi has stepped aside because she can see that. She stepped aside 2 years ago and let new leadership come in to be the minority leader and possible Speaker of the House. And now she's retiring. Chuck Schumer needs to take her example. Maybe he will. Maybe he's seeing that his career is over anyway. So what this does is it brings the House back in session. Mike Johnson can no longer put that off. He's going to have to now swear in Adelita Grijalva, and she is the 218th signature on the discharge petition that will take away the right of the Speaker of the House to have a say, and it will force a vote on the floor to make the DOJ release all their information on the Epstein Files. Now, he was trying to hold out until December 2nd, because on December 2nd, there's a special election in Tennessee. And it's in a district that Trump won by 22% in 2024. It's the 7th Congressional District. Mark Green, a piece of shit Republican whose wife accused him, and then the woman did confirm that, yes, I'm having an affair with Mark Green. He also was caught for insider trading. So he resigned this last June or July. So there is a special election for his seat on December 2nd. The Republican running, his name is Matt Van Epps. The Democrat running is a woman called Afton Bain, and she is a legislator in Tennessee. And Van Epps was up 8%. So I'm going to read this. Recent polling gives Van Epps an advantage, but shows a closer than expected race. An Impact Social poll of the race showed Van Epps up by about 8 points. Okay, Donald Trump won by 22 points. Bain International poll conducted by Workbench Strategy also showed Van Epps up by 8 points, but it also found that among those most motivated to vote on an off-year, weird date special election, the two candidates were tied, 49%. All right? So Mike Johnson was looking at this special election in Tennessee, because if Matt Van Epps, the Republican, wins, that would nullify Adelita Grijalva's 218th signature. All right, because we would need one more signature then if there was another Republican added. You see what's going on here? Now Adelita Grijalva is going to be sworn in tomorrow, Wednesday, November 12th. She's going to immediately sign the discharge petition. And I believe there's 46 hours. I would need to look at that again. I think I saw that. But it has to be voted on very quickly after that. The Epstein Files could be forced to be released by the end of this week, possibly. And that is what is going on here. Also, we would love new leadership. We would love for Chuck Schumer to say, after talking to a lot of people who seem to be very uppity about my decision about not keeping people together in the Senate on Sunday night, I decided that I'm going to step aside and let somebody else who's still a human being take my place. Possibly. Chuck Schumer's not dumb. He doesn't have a spine, and he works for the, donors instead of the people. But so I'm not sticking up for Chuck Schumer. I'm not sticking up for any of the people in the Senate, but perhaps they're kind of sacrificing themselves. I talked to my friend Doug about this on Sunday night, and he was beside himself. He thought the Democrats completely blew the great week with the great election on Tuesday night, as did everyone else. That's what everybody was talking about. He was watching like CNN. It's funny because he told me he was just looking for the weather, and then he saw this news. But then he was, getting information from CNN and people like that. Those people will drive you crazy because they don't report about all of it. Doug called me the next morning and said, hey, nobody said that this only goes till January 30th. Actually, now I see this as the Democrats calling the Republicans bluff. And I said, this is how I felt. I felt bad after you felt so bad, but I was feeling different than you. I was feeling like this could be quite a brilliant play to force the House to get back together, to force the swearing in of Adelita Grijalva, who, by the way, won a special election in Arizona in middle September and has not yet been sworn in, because the Republicans, the GOP, are the guardians of pedophiles. And they know that when the House gets back together, it's going to force a vote for the Epstein Files to be released. There's rumors that there's at least 50 to 60, if not 100, Republicans who, when that vote comes, are going to vote in favor of it. And that's going to be their off-ramp. They have told people on the inside. So these are the things that are going on. I just feel like we shouldn't be losing our minds right now over this. I wonder if this is a betrayal of the Democratic Party or if it is some people actually realizing they're going to have a lot of people really pissed at them, and they're sort of sacrificing themselves to call the GOP's bluff, because now things could get set back to right, and it'll happen before December 2nd, when the possibility of a Republican winning a special election in Tennessee that would then nullify Adelita Grijalva's vote or signature on the discharge petition. There are a lot of moving parts going on here. This is politics. All right? It sucks because it's a game. It shouldn't be. But right now it is. There's also new information about redistricting that's really, really good. And I couldn't wait to tell you. I do this once a week, usually every Sunday, but I'm not going to go into that right now because this is a special report about this last Sunday's development. I just really felt compelled to get this messaging out to you because I don't think we should be so broken up about this. I think we should be maybe thinking this is a good thing. A lot is going to change starting tomorrow upon the swearing in of Representative Grijalva. The Epstein Files could be voted on to be released on the House floor by the end of this week. Things are going to move fast. That's why I couldn't wait till next weekend. Anyway, thank you for watching if you're still watching. I will speak at you soon.